Raiders are moving and shaking, y'all. Quick live. Let's get it. Yo, salute to everybody already here in the building. You guys know what time it is. We got some breaking news. I was going to do a short video real quick, but I said, you know what? Let me come over here and do a live real quick and get the nation's response to this. Breaking news, you guys. Our Raiders have went out and cut former starting center Andre James. Tom Pelissero on the case first. He put it out there on Twitter. The Raiders plan to release starting center Andre James after the new league year begins. Per the insiders, one of the last players remaining from the Oakland days, James played in 89 games with 60 starts over 6 seasons. So it looks as though it is JPJ season, you guys. You already know what time it is. He looked really good out there. He has all pro written all over him at the center position. Breaking news, our Raiders have moved on from Andre James. And I think it saves us roughly $1.5 million off the salary cap this season. So it was a good move. It allows him some time to go find another team. There are some other teams out there looking for some center help. We talked about it earlier on the show. It could potentially be the Chicago Bears. There's going to be some other options out there. And Andre James has been a starter. You know what I mean? He's a 6-year veteran. You know, he's been there and done that. So salute to him. Once a Raider, always a Raider. Nothing but a professional with the Raiders. It just, look. Simple and plain, you guys. We have a better player at the position that fits what we're trying to do moving forward. And I think that JPJ is going to be a potential all-pro center. So it makes all the sense in the world. Kind of a shocker because, you know, this guy has the connection, Andre James, to Chip Kelly from UCLA. So I thought maybe they would try and make it work. But hey, Spy Tech and company are making moves, and they moved on from Andre James, saving us roughly $1.5 million. Also, man, I want to put this out there as well. Salute to my guy, Raider Rain. For those who don't know who Rain is, this is my guy that I wore the shirt earlier, the Brock Bowers shirt. He has some ties to a few guys out there, you know, with the Raiders. You know, very close to Jonathan Abram. He had ties to Josh Jacobs, a few other players that he was really, really close with. His time living in the Las Vegas area and working with these guys. He put it out there that the Raiders and corner Nate Hobbs are parting ways this offseason. Personally, I was hoping he would remain a Raider for life. So salute to my guy, Raider Rain. He has dropped some news before. My guy is always sharp with this stuff, so I'm going to take this as gospel. Once again, things can change, but it sounds as though the Raiders and Nate Hobbs have not found mutual ground in bringing him back, and it looks as though Monday he will be a free agent and be looking for work elsewhere. Salute to Nate Hobbs. We all love him. You know, there was some questions there in coverage. He was a great tackler, great in the ground game, but you know, once again, you guys, it's not that difficult to find somebody to replace in the slot. This guy has that durability issues, and he's not played a ton for us. He's missed a ton of football games. Makes all this sense. The writing was on the wall. Getting injured again this year, missed some time. So salute to Nate Hobbs, homegrown talent. You know, you hate to see it, but this is a business here. And, you know, availability is the best ability. So it looks as though we will be moving on from Nate Hobbs, allowing him to move on and find him a job elsewhere. I kind of thought he was going to price himself out anyway. You know what I mean? But we're here. So, you know, salute. And look, I know my brother's live. I had to just pull up real quick and do this while I could. So salute to Wasted. I know he's going to be doing his thing his solo show as well. But I wanted to come over here and talk real quick. This is not going to be a long live. I'm definitely going to let Wasted get his shit off over there, his channel. But I wanted to get you guys' opinion on this. Once again, we are moving on from Andre James, saving $1.5 million. Put that towards the $80 million that we have left in the pot. It's great because, once again, we have a few guys out there. We have Will Putnam, right? UDFA out of Clemson, that can be your backup center. We have Dylan Parham. If he falls out of favor and he's no longer a starting guard, you could potentially move him and have him be your backup center behind JPJ. So, I'm not upset about this move, and it saves us some money. I don't know if we tried to shop him, and see if somebody would pick up that existing contract, but I am okay with this. It saved us some money this season. We can move on from Andre James. And then once again, with Nate Hobbs, kind of the writing was on the wall with the durability issues. You know what I mean? So Tom Pelissero put it out there, you guys, that we are moving on from Andre James, the start of the new year. And it looks as though we'll be moving on from Nate Hobbs and he will find another job elsewhere. But keep an eye on that. Things change. You never know. You just never know in this league what can happen. Nate and the Raiders may come to a mutual ground later on, and he may remain a Raider. We never know. You just never know in this league. But it looks as though we are moving on from him this free agency period. So good luck to Nate Hobbs. Good luck to Andre James. Two really, really, really good guys. And I hope that they shine wherever they go. You know what I mean? Salute to Atticus. Losing Hobbs sucks. Dude is a solid tackler. Definitely, man. But you can get better. You can get better there in the slot. You want to find somebody that can play the run game, but also get it done in coverage. You know what I mean? And I thought, him coming out of college, he was going to be someone that offered us a little bit more value in coverage, and it just never really happened. And then outside of that, once again, Atticus, a guy that could just not stay healthy for shit year in and year out, missing football games. You can't have that. You can't have that. So, but once again, I'm rooting for him. He wanted to be a Raider. He's made it public that he would have loved to spend the rest of his career with the Raiders, but we all know this is a business, and business things happen in the business world. You know what I mean? Salute to CGR in the building. Salute to LV Maximus. Yes, I got your message as well, big bro. I was already putting the thumbnail together when you sent me that message. Once again, you guys, Tom Pelissero put the news out that we will be moving on from Andre James, saving us $1.5 million. And then the rumor is now, salute to my brother Raider Rain, that we will be moving parting ways with Nate Hobbs when the NFL opens back up for business next week. Tyler, have to resign Spillane, which I'm hearing already, you guys, that we're working with his representation to bring him back. And that's great. We got to bring Spill back. Captain, leader in that locker room. You love to see it. Adam Butler, I would love to have him back at a reasonable price tag. Definitely. And then Merrick, man, he's an interesting guy because he may price himself out the building. He had a good year for us last year. He's gotten better year in and year out. I'll say this. I would love to bring back Merrick as long as we're not paying a $15 million price tag per year. And if it is that, pivot, go look at a Javon Holland, a kid that played well for Miami, had a down season last year, but the year prior looked really good out there. He can offer you some reps in the slot. He can move around a little bit. Oakland product, former Oregon Duck. That is a guy that I'm looking at in free agency if Merrick outprices himself. You know what I mean? But look for the Raiders to try and keep him in the loop. You know what I mean? But once again, he's going to go out there and get that bag. And I know firsthand that Merrick would love to remain a Raider as well. You know what I mean? But it has to make financial sense. In the words of Josh Jacobs and what he told to me, Graphk, I would love to be a Raider, but it has to make sense. Hey, Payne, I love Holland. I know he had a down season last year, but man, I would love a Javon Holland, man. And he's going to come back pissed off because of the down season that he had in Miami. I'm expecting great results from whoever picks up Javon Holland next year. I would love to have it. Keith says $81.5 million after James is cut. Somewhere along those lines, Keith. Definitely somewhere along those lines, for sure. Why get rid of OL depth for only $1 million against the cap? Because he probably wants a chance to start elsewhere, Darth. This is probably a move that benefits both parties. Andre was not going to start for us, and this allows him to go find a job elsewhere and compete for a starting job. This guy's been with us for 6 seasons. I think the Raiders, are doing their due diligence and allowing him to go elsewhere to find a starting job. He can still be a starter in this league. At one point, he was, that 10 to 15 range, at the center position. So he can actually start somewhere else, potentially Chicago with all the moves that they were making on that O-line. So this is a good move for both parties. He wasn't going to play football for us unless JPJ went down, God forbid, right? We have Will Putnam that I know that they like a lot, the UDFA out of Clemson. You know, he's a dog. And then once again, you have Dylan Parham, who may not be a starting guard for us this year. It could potentially give you backup reps at the center position. So it makes sense. Wherever Andre James lands, I'm rooting for him. You know what I mean? But, you know, once again, he wants to be able to go out there and start. You know, he started, what, I think they said 60 games? 60 games. So he's been a starter. He's already lived that life. He wants an opportunity to be able to remain a starter at the next level. So let me see. You think we might trade down at all from pick 6? I don't think we'll trade down. If anything, if we do trade, I think it will be down and not up. I don't think we move up to 1 or move up to 2 or 3. You know, I think that we will remain at 6 and take the best player available, or move back, pull the Pete Carroll Seattle Seahawks and move back and pick up a bunch of additional draft capital. That may be the move, but who am I? I don't know. You know, Spytek's a different beast. I don't know what he has planned this year. Him and Tom Brady can come together and Pete Carroll and say, Cam is the answer. Shador is the answer, and move up to go get him. But I'm assuming, you guys, if we move up to 1, it's for Cam Ward, because I think that these guys really, truly think that Shador may be there at 6. Yeah. Tyler, you know, there's a bunch of reports and narratives out there of us potentially being interested in Byron Murphy, and why not? He's still fairly young. I think he's 27, 28, had a Pro Bowl year last year with Minnesota. Why not take a look at him in free agency when you need another, you need another corner at the bare minimum. You need 2 actually, but it would be great to go out there and pay Byron Murphy or a DJ Reed big time money to come in and be your guy, because I'm excited about Jacorian Bennett this year, you guys. He dealt with an injury last year, but he looked phenomenal before he went down. I'm expecting big things with DCAM out there. The measurables, Pete Carroll loves that in his DBs. I'm expecting a big year for him in year 2. But, you know, Jack Jones can essentially now be our, corner 3, corner 2 at worst. You have to go out there and get one of these guys in the free agency market. And I'm assuming that it probably would be DJ Reed first because of the, the familiarity with Pete Carroll playing under him 2 years in Seattle. But keep an eye on Byron Murphy. I know Minnesota wants him back as well, but they're trying to figure out what they're doing with Sam Darnold. They're going to have to make some moves out there in Minnesota. I think that he's going to outprice himself in Minnesota. Salute to fuck the Chiefs, one of the greatest names in YouTube history. Sanders will be there at 6. He will guide us into the future. Take it to the bank. Salute to my guy, fuck the Chiefs, one of the greatest names in YouTube history as well. Salute to the almost 800 people rocking with me in the building. I appreciate you guys so much. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, what are y'all waiting on, man? Hit that subscribe button. Salute. I was walking my dog. The news broke. I didn't even get my lighting on. I didn't really do my tags or anything. I just said, let me go live real quick and talk to the nation real fast. But once again, for those who are just joining the show, breaking news, according to Tom Pelissero, our Raiders are cutting Andre James, saving roughly $1.5 million towards the cap this season. So Spider-Mac says, if we pass on Sanders at 6, we will be cursed 10 more years. Salute to my guy, Spider-Man. Space Beast, yes, we are. Sometimes we got to do our own thing, man. You know what I mean? And you guys know that this is my job. So whenever news drops, I have to go. And my guys definitely respect that, and they appreciate me. You know, I even hit up Waston and said I got to do my thing. So, you know, this is I'm the one person that actually, does this for a living. So, hold on real. My apologies. Got everything happen at once. My son knocked on the door. My wife called. A lot going on over here at the Graphk Raider household. Salute to LB Maximus. Let Spytek cook. Welcome. Have to trust his judgment. This is facts. Facts plus tax. RTYG, man, once again, I said this on the show earlier, you guys, and I'm not going to be here for too long. But once again, I'm not looking at Jonathan Allen. There's no reason to pay him a ton of money when you can go get one in this year's draft class. This is a deep positional group in this draft. There's a ton of defensive tackles. There's no reason to go out there and pay an astronomical amount of money for the likes of a Jonathan Allen, who had a down year last year with the Commanders, to bring him into Las Vegas. I'm gonna be real with you. This may sound crazy. I'd rather just give Adam Butler, a reasonable contract over a Jonathan Allen. Bring your own guy back. Bring some camaraderie back into the building. Bring Mr. Power Ranger or whatever it is. I don't know what he be doing, but bring him back. If anything, if you're going to bring any defensive tackle back, bring back Adam Butler. I'm not paying Jonathan Allen a crazy amount of money to come in, especially with this deep positional group in this year's draft. Let me see. No, we're not going to go after Bosa. There's no way. Makes no sense at all. Makes no sense at all. Fast Grab, it seems like D-line is getting cut a lot. Look, I'm telling you, this is a deep class. People just look at this as this is the running back class. No. Don't get it confused, you guys. There's going to be some great defensive tackles going in the 5th and 6th round, potentially 7th. This is a deep class. I'm telling you, be excited, man. We're going to be able to bring somebody in to sit there next to Christian Wilkins and be that guy in the interior of our defensive line next to whether it's Malcolm Kuntz or whoever, a Josh Sweat with Max Crosby in the building, which I don't think we're going to bring in a Sweat. I think it's going to cost too much money, and we just paid Max Crosby. I'm assuming we're going to try and bring back Malcolm Kuntz. But it makes no sense to bring in a Bosa, you guys. He plays, 6-7 games at tops a year. He's up there in age. The injury bug has gotten to him year in and year out. It makes no sense in the world. The Chargers moved on from him. They saved a shit ton of money, like, was it $25 million, somewhere along those lines? There's no reason to go out there and look at a Bosa. I really, truly believe he's going to take like a really inexpensive deal with the Niners and go down there and play with his brother in Santa Clara. And it makes sense, man. It'd be, kind of cool. I hate the 49ers more than I hate the Chargers, but it'd be kind of cool to watch both the brothers go down there and work together. I don't think it's going to do anything, but, let me see. LV, Javon Walker, interesting. Young edge rusher out of Georgia. He's going to go early. So I don't want to go get an edge rusher that early. I don't. I personally don't. But I like the kid. I think he could be a baller. I think he could be solid at the next level. Let me see. You said, I think Khalil Mack is a better winner than Malcolm. I mean, that's clear, Lewis. I mean, Khalil has been in the league a lot longer than Malcolm Kuntz. Kuntz has only been in the league for 4 years, brother. And Khalil is honestly Khalil's been to the playoffs, 3 times? I believe once with us in 2016. I think did he go once with the Bears? Once or twice? And then he went once with the Chargers last year? Is that what it was? I know he's been to the playoffs a few times. So, I mean, that's clear. He's more of a winner, than Malcolm. Malcolm is still a young grasshopper trying to get together and coming off of a major injury. Salute to Junior, man, my guy, on becoming a member. I appreciate you, brother. That means a lot, man. Thank you so much. If you guys want to become a member like my guy, Junior, hit the link. It's pinned up top. It definitely helps us keep the lights on over here. Get a few questions in, you guys. I'll do about 30 minutes before I get out of here. Once again, for those who are just joining the show or new here, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Also, get those likes up, meaning wipe them feet. Breaking news, our Raiders have officially cut Andre James. He will be cut as the new year comes around next week, saving us $1.5 million this season towards the cap. And it looks as though our Raiders will be moving on from Nate Hobbs, allowing him to walk free in free agency. It sounds as though there was not really a mutual ground there between those. I know Nate wanted to come back, but maybe it sounds like maybe the Raiders didn't want to. We know him more than anybody. And once again, durability is key. Availability is the best ability. Yes, LV, I'm excited about it, man. I can't wait. You see, I got my Kings hat on. I wasn't ready to do a live right now. I wasn't ready to do a live, so I had my Kings hat walking my dog. So let me see. Bring in pairing with Parliament. I don't think we look at safety like that in free agency. Honestly, I don't. I think if we do, I think we're going to bring back our own guy, or you pivot and look at a Javon Holland. If not, we got Trey waiting in the wings. We got Chris Smith is not the answer at all, but he's still on the roster. You can look at a safety, in this draft class to bring in and add some firepower to that room. But maybe I don't know. I personally don't think that. I think they want to bring back Merrick, but I think they're going to allow him to go out and see kind of, what that looks like. they're going to say, hey, go out there and see what options you have out there, what the money looks like, because he's earned it. He deserves it. But Javon Holland would be very interested in Graham's system. I would love to see what that looked like. Tyler, from what I was told, right, and we'll talk to Scout about it as well come Monday when that free agency tampering period opens up. But I was assuming that it saves somewhere between $20 and $30 million with that restructure. So I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but it saves us a crazy shit ton of money. And that'll allow us to go a little bit more bonkers in free agency if we choose to. They want to win now, right? They want to compete now. Well, guess what? Make that restructure, because after you do that, you're not going to have to really work with anybody else in terms of restructure. You don't really have to hit up Colton and say, what are we doing here? Or deal with anybody else. One restructure here with Christian Wilkins to free you up a ton of draft capital, and you can make some moves. But I believe that is the number, somewhere in that $20 to $30 million range. Rich, the thing is this. I mean, you can't call him the GOAT at all, but I mean, he's a good player, but we have a better player. That's kind of how this thing goes in the NFL, right? You move on from one guy because the other guy's better, or the other guy's younger, or the other guy's cheaper. Well, guess what? JPJ is cheaper. He's on a rookie deal. He's better, younger. So why would you keep Andre James around? That one player, if anything, he's probably the most disposable player on this roster right now. And that's no knock to Andre James. It's just clear-cut facts. Like, Rich, he was never going to go back to center in the first place, brother. You think that we were going to put JPJ back at left guard or at guard? That was never the plan. That was never the plan. JPJ is our center of the future. There's no way in hell you move him back to left guard after the way he performed last season. There's no way. Let me see, man. Salute to Top Beats, our guy, our brother, man. Happy birthday, my brother. 65 years of being alive. That is beautiful, my brother. Coming from the environments that we come from, man, that is a blessing, King. Salute to you and happy birthday, bro. Rich, that was one of the biggest mistakes of last season. I mean, bro, why did we win 4 games? We had an incompetent head coach, incompetent positional coaches. I mean, bro, let's just keep it a buck here. We had some terrible coaches in the building last year. I don't know how new you are to my channel, but I was screaming from the mountaintop. But also, he was injured at the beginning of the season. He was also dealing with some things. He had a concussion, I believe, in training camp. There was some other things surrounding, our young pup. So he didn't start early on. But when he got an opportunity to, when Andre James, sustained his own injury, boom, JPJ was inserted and never looked back. Never looked back. So that's the reason why, honestly. I would love it. I would love it, LV. I would love it. I'm expecting Spillane to remain a Raider. And once again, all signs are pointing towards that. But you already know, you guys, things happen in this league. You just never truly know. But from what I'm hearing behind the scenes from multiple people is that is already in motion. I've not heard anything about Merrick. I've not heard anything of talk with Malcolm Kuntz and his representation. I haven't heard anything about anybody else but Robert Spillane. That's the only thing that I've heard behind the scenes by multiple sources. So we shall see. We shall see. Things change quick in the league. Salute, Junior. I appreciate that, brother. That means a lot to me. Thank you, man. I think so, Young. I think he's going to price himself out. I do. He may not return. And if he gets that bag, more power to him. That's what you're here for, right? You're here for to get that bag. The NFL, once again, not for long. Get your money while you can. I always stated, and I put a tweet up the other day that I thought that Merrick was going to outprice himself, Nate Hobbs was going to outprice himself, and that we were going to pay Spillane and bring back Kuntz. Those were the 2 guys that I thought we'd bring back and then let Devon Diablo walk. And if we could, bring back Adam Butler into the fold as well. I know Rob Leonard is probably, talking to this brass and saying we would love to have him back in the middle of that defensive line. Salute to Junior, man. Appreciate you on the $2 special, brother. Thank you. Lewis says, I'm hearing Sam Darnold, not that I like it. It sounds like Sam Darnold's going back to Minnesota. It sounds like that's like a foregone conclusion. Like they're trying to get a 1 or 2 year deal done. So we shall see where that goes Once again, things change in the blink of an eye in this league, but it sounds like Minnesota and Sam Darnold are working towards they both have mutual interest for him to go back out there. And, you never know. J.J. McCarthy may not be ready to go yet. He's still, dealing with an injury. We shall see. Design says, how much will Kuntz sign for? I don't know. His spot track is $20 million, which he won't get that at all. He missed the entire season. I'm expecting someone that maybe $10 million range for a year, 1 year, $10 million range. Isn't that what Bobby Wagner got? I think he got like a 1 year, $10 million deal, somewhere around that range. I know he's a linebacker, but I could have swore that's what the deal looked like for him. I'm expecting somewhere in that range, and maybe throw some incentives in there. Maybe throw it where you can get up to $12, $15 million, with how many games you play or how much production you put up. But I'm assuming it's probably in that $10 million range. Let me see. Salute to S. Dot. He's crazy. Andre James plays like a high school senior in the NFL. Goat my ass. Watching James play against D tackles like watching that dude helpless invaders chokehold. Get the F out of here. Laugh out loud. Salute to my guy on the $10 special. But yeah, he definitely got bullied against some of the top defensive tackles. That's for sure. It was kind of tough watching him play against the likes, of some of these big dogs. The Chris Joneses of the world. He just pushed back. It's kind of difficult, man. So, and that's no knock to Andre James. It's just JPJ is that guy. JPJ is the one. Yeah, Lewis. And once again, the Raiders can sell this as, was it a fluke at the end of the season prior to last? Where you had, a ton of production at the end of the year. But I'm expecting Malcolm Kuntz to come back. I am. Now, maybe a team out there will spend a massive amount of money. I know Atlanta can use another edge rusher. The Commanders can, which I think they're going to go all in on Trey Hendrickson. But maybe the Patriots pay a bag, for Malcolm Kuntz. It's, we're going to see here. I think if they allow him to get into free agency, somebody may outpay us. But we still have a few days before that window opens, you guys. So we'll see what's going on here shortly. Yeah, LV, business is just business, man. Yeah, this is the thing, man. I thought he would have remained retired, but the good thing for Michael Gallup, man, I'm proud of him. He took a year off to get healthy. He's dealt with multiple injuries, right? He's only still, 29 years old, so he may still have something left in the tank. We just took him off the retirement list. He'll probably go play elsewhere. Maybe he goes back to Dallas. Who's to say? I don't know. But I'll say this, man. Salute to him. He was smart. He listened to his body in camp and said, you know what? Everybody keeps saying this is a Raider thing. Oh, no, he didn't want to play for this team. He knew what it was going to look like. No, man. This was probably him listening to his body and saying, I played this game my entire life, and I'm not ready to go yet. I'm just not ready to go yet. So he took a year off, and now he's off the retirement list, and now he may go play elsewhere. So it's going to be determined to see if he can remain healthy. Who's to say? You know what I'm saying? But I love that he's back. I love that. Salute to Junior again, my dog, on a $2 special. I appreciate you, my guy. Salute to Raider Squid in the building. So it's good to see my brother Squid in the building as well, man. Facts. Wipe them feet, y'all. Put some chapstick on, man. Hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, what are y'all waiting on? Hit that subscribe button. Yeah, it looks as though, Lake Show, I'm not going to say that Aaron will go down there and sign with them because there's a lot. They're missing a lot out there, right? I know Abdul Carter's in the building out there today. I know that Cam Ward is in the building today. I believe that Shador is coming in the next few days. I know Aaron owns some property down there, I believe, in the Nashville area. I think that's what it was. But why would he go down there? If anything, I think it'd be better for him to go to the Giants, than the Titans. At least they have some pieces out there. You know what I mean? I mean, the Raiders, I think, would be the smartest move for Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career. But who's to say? Who's to say? But, yeah, I don't think he goes down to the Titans unless that's the last option out there. And I'm going to be real. I think he would choose retirement over the Titans. I could be wrong. I don't know how bad Aaron Rodgers wants to play football again, but I'm assuming that if it came down just to the Titans, he's going to be like, I'm out of here. Gonzalez, we just cut Andre James. Yeah, click them thumbs, man. Thank you, man. Just Raiders, baby. I appreciate you. Salute to Chris, that content. Salute to my guy, man. Appreciate you. Once again, for those who are just joining, we got 1,100 people in the building. Whether you are on Twitter or you're on YouTube, I just want to say I appreciate you guys. Get those likes up and hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet. Breaking news, our Raiders are moving on from Andre James. I've said it a million times. I'll repeat it a million times again, saving us $1.5 million towards the cap. And it looks as though we will be moving on from Nate Hobbs, allowing him to walk in free agency. This is coming from my boy Raider Rain. And once again, you guys, I know some people may say, who is that? This is a guy that I'm familiar with, this is a good friend of mine. And I know how tied in he is with some of these players and some of the people from the organization. So I'm going to take his word for it. I think he may have talked to Nate Hobbs in his camp himself. And it sounds as though we may be moving on. Top, my brother, do you think Rodgers might come to the Raiders? And if not, what veteran quarterback do you think we'll get? I think it's going to be between us and the Giants. And there's two ways you can look at this. The Giants makes sense to him, stays in the same building, doesn't have to relocate. Boom. Raiders, I think that we're going to be ready to compete even more than the Giants this upcoming season with Pete Carroll in the building, Spy Tech Tom Brady, no state tax. You can sell them on Brock Bowers, Jacoby. We're probably going to go out there, and we're already in the mix right now for DK Metcalf. So it looks as though we're in the market for a number one receiver. I just think the Raiders favor. I think it makes a lot more sense for Aaron to come to the Raiders. Now, is there interest there between both parties? We shall see. I have not heard anything about the Raiders being interested in Aaron Rodgers, and I've not heard anything about Aaron Rodgers being interested in the Raiders. But I can say this. If Aaron Rodgers is interested in the Giants, he's just interested in playing football. That's not a desirable location. It's not a desirable destination to go to at this point. They're drafting at 3. There's not a lot of moving pieces out there. There's a few, bright spots on that roster, the Dexter Lawrences of the world, the Malik Neighbors, but they need a lot out there. And I think with our coaching staff, our general manager now with Spytek and Tom Brady in the fold, I think that we're more of a desirable destination than the Giants. So we'll see. Monday, things can change quick, fast, and in a hurry. I know at one point the word was that Aaron was already out there looking at houses. Devontae was trying to help him find a spot. And then Josh McDaniels cut his legs off quick, fast, and in a hurry. So that was the word. I don't know if it was real, but I'm just, there was a lot of speculation of Aaron being out there looking for a spot. So I don't know if he feels that Devontae was done dirty and he doesn't want to have anything to do with the Raiders. I just know that he's from the West Coast. The weather there, he can play golf all year round. If it's all about the bread, we have a ton of it and no state tax. So we'll see a lot more here, Top, in the next few days here shortly, if he wants to be a Raider or if we're even interested in bringing him in. And Tom Brady's very familiar with Aaron Rodgers. So we'll say this. If we don't even bring him in or have a conversation with him, that is very telling of what Brady thinks of Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career. Salute to Larry. I hope they do not trade for Geno. Would be the same issue we had with Carr, 8-8 purgatory. I said this on the show earlier, Larry. This would be a Derek Carr-esque kind of move, a Kirk Cousins kind of esque move. You're just literally getting the average quarterback and bringing him in and hoping that it works out. I agree with you. I'm not on the Geno Smith train. Is he better than anything that we have in the building now? Yes. Is there familiarity there with Pete Carroll? Yes. Can Geno use his legs, even more than Derek Carr? Yes. Right. But to me, that's not the move to make, especially at 34. You have to re him up, pay him a new deal. He's on an expiring contract. I don't think that's the right move for us to make. Now, if Geno comes in, I'm good. Look, I will support him because he's a Raider, but that is not my first choice. I would rather keep our draft capital, bring in the likes of an Aaron Rodgers or Justin Fields or one of those guys in free agency and go get you one in the draft. Salute to Larry. Salute to Pineapple. Yeah, exciting offseason. This is facts. Facts, man. Winter off season is not exciting as Raider fans, right? Like we're always in the mix with something. It's always something with the Raiders, right? So, but here we are. And you guys, this isn't really big news. It's not really breaking news, right? I mean, am I a little kind of surprised that we cut Andre James? I thought that maybe we would have tried to trade him, if anything. But, I mean, this is not a shocker. Look, you guys, this is a backup. This is a backup. And I know he's played starter minutes before, but this is a backup. I'm not like, let's not make this bigger than what it needs to be. I think if anything, the Nate Hobbs, us moving on from him, that may even be bigger news than Andre James. And that's no knock to Andre. It's just we already have our center of the future. So where do you? And then he played tackle, I believe, at UCLA the majority of his career there. There's no where do we? I don't see where Andre James fits in the grand scheme of things with us. I just don't. K Smooth, we save $1.5 million. $1.5 million. Salute to Hug D's in the building as well, my brother. That's a good question. And once again, I'm very happy that you brought up Jordan Meredith. That may be the move. That may be the move. We just re-signed him, to that the EFRA, contract, right? 1 year, I believe, $1 million, somewhere in that range. I can see Meredith just being that Swiss Army knife on that O-line, a guy that can move all across the board. He could potentially be a backup. And I don't know how you feel about this, Esda, but I like Will Putnam. I like the young UDFA, the kid that went at it with Max Crosby at training camp. I like that. He's a dog. And when you watch his tape, his film from the college level, he was one of them ones. So maybe he is the guy that could potentially be, the backup. I mean, he may not even be on the roster. I'm just stating that. Look, he's a center. Maybe he's the guy. But we don't know. The good thing is we have options here. Meredith can play all across the O-line. You have Dylan Parham that's probably going to be better at center. And a lot of people in the nation have been screaming to have him move to center at one point, right before we got JPJ. So we shall see. We see. I don't think everybody hates James. The thing is, we've got a bigger sample size with Andre James. Rich, we haven't got a major sample size out of our former 7th round pick in Thayer Mumford. You know what I mean? Like, he's looked good. He's looked bad. He's still young. 7th round guy that if he would have came out probably the year prior, he probably would have been a mid-round guy. But we haven't seen the sample size isn't the same, brother. It's just not the same. So, he says Putnam's ain't NFL strong enough yet. Okay, that's that. Look, I know you know your O-line. I know you're heavy on the O-line, heavy in the trenches. Salute to everybody here in the building. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up if you guys are not subscribed yet. What are y'all waiting on? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Scott says re-sign Spillane and get Fields. We'll see what Pittsburgh has in store. The big question mark is this. It sounds like they're interested in bringing him back over Russell Wilson, but how does Jay Fields feel? They cut him, or they didn't cut him. They benched him for Russell Wilson after going 4-2. I mean, I know the offense wasn't great. They were kicking a ton of field goals, but the big question is, does Justin Fields look at Pittsburgh the way now Pittsburgh is looking at him? It kind of reminds me of like a situation where a girl breaks up with you, you get clean and get your shit together. You go get an apartment, nice car, and now she's looking at you differently. Like, yo, man, I fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want you back. You know what I mean? And now you're looking at it like, bitch, I got my shit together. So what are we doing here? So I could be going off script here, you guys. I'm just saying that may be the situation up there in Pittsburgh. So, bring back Madison. Damn, Rich, you tweaking, bro. I feel like Rich is just trolling now at this point. God damn, bro. Bro said bring Alexander Madison back. For what? Graphk, when free agency starts Monday, what free agent do you really want outside of our organization? I would like to look at, once again, I think DJ Reed makes a ton of sense. He's still fairly young. He'll probably command somewhere in that $13 to $15 million range. He can be your starting, your number one guy at the corner spot. Byron Murphy is another guy that I'm looking at. I'd rather get a corner, free agency early. I would rather, get one in the late rounds, get the Pete Carroll special. Get one of those guys late. Don't get an early guy like a Will Johnson. I don't want to spend $6 on a Will Johnson. I would like to spend big money in free agency on a Byron Murphy or the likes of a DJ Reed. So I would like to bring in a corner. But I mean, honestly, you have to keep an eye 2-4 on the quarterback position, right? You have to. I mean, that's the big move that we're waiting on here. But I would love to bring in the corner. DJ Reed, Byron Murphy, get one of those guys. Make a splash move at the corner position, and lock down that DB so we can go into the draft and we can look in those mid to later rounds for like a steal, like a Zah Frazier, one of those type of guys. Let me see. No D Slay. Love what he's done at the NFL level. Love what he's done, period. At one point, lockdown guy. He's up there in age. Philly moved on from him for a reason. I don't want anything to do with Darius Slay. And I love Slay. Love his game, but he's just too old. Get young at the position. It's a young man's game now, at that position. Go get a young guy. Yo, Docs, any word or rumors about a possible hideout? I was thinking Stephon Diggs. Oh, wideout. I think you meant wideout. I was thinking Stephon Diggs. Maybe no. No. We don't even know where he is right now in terms of his rehab with that knee injury, right? I'm not paying big time money to bring in the likes of a Stephon Diggs. I'm not doing it. If you're going to bring in a veteran top, the connection is there with Chris Godwin, right? Even though the injuries have been multiple year in, year out with him. But last year he had a ton of production before he went down. He's still fairly young, I think 28, 29 years old, and played with Tom Brady, has a connection to John Spytek. If you're going to look in free agency for a wide receiver, I'd probably go that route. Only if you had to. I'm just saying if I had to answer your question, I'm looking at Godwin over Amari Cooper, over Stephon Diggs, over Keenan Allen, over any of those guys. I would bring in a guy that has familiarity with Brady, with John Spytek, and that's the way I go about it. But I would rather trade for DK Metcalf. If you can part ways with that Devontae pick and go get DK, and maybe if you just throw in a future pick down the road, go get him. I would rather go that route. It sounds as though we've already reached out to Seattle. Sounds like we've already talked to them. So we shall see. Ron says Raiders trade for Geno. Did it happen? Did it happen? No, y'all lying. Did it happen? Wow, it happened. Wow. Well, blockbuster. The Raiders are sending Seahawks are sending two-time Pro Bowl quarterback Geno Smith to the Raiders for a 2025 third-round pick. Oh, shit. For a third, sources tell the insiders it's a reunion for Pete Carroll and Smith, who are also excited to get a new contract, and Seattle will need a new quarterback. Wow. For a third-round pick, I'm not mad at that. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is not my first option, you guys. But, hey, we got a quarterback. Not a quarterback, but still got to draft one. The only way I will be happy with this situation, you guys, is if we draft one. If we go get the likes of a Shedeur Sanders at 6, or you bring in a Jackson Dart or one of those type of guys, you have to make a move in the draft to bring in a guy who will be his successor. That's the only way I would be happy about this move. But once again, you're bringing in a middle of the pack a quarterback, but we have a quarterback. We have a quarterback for a third-round pick. Wow. Wow. Breaking news, you guys. Our Raiders have went out and made a trade, blockbuster trade. We're getting Geno Smith. Pete Carroll gets his guy. We did a show earlier on today about this, about who it would be and who, and here we go. It's Geno Smith for a third-round pick. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what this deal looks like with him moving forward. Let me see something, you guys. I'm going to bring this contract up. Crazy. Breaking news, you guys. Our Raiders have went out and traded for 34-year-old quarterback Geno Smith. Wow. Big news coming out of Las Vegas. We cut Andre James. It looks like we're moving on from Nate Hobbs, and we go sign our quarterback for the now, our bridge guy. Geno Smith. I'm looking right now, you guys. He signed a 3-year, so he'll be an unrestricted free agent in 2026. This year, cap hit at $38.5 million. So I don't know where this lies with us, how much we're going to have to pay him, but he has a cap hit this year of $38 million, 38.5. And honestly, you guys, the minimum here, a lot of these guys are getting paid $40, $50 million. Like that's the starting point in today's NFL at the quarterback spot. So if you're paying him $38 million, it's kind of at this point, market-wise, it's low-key a steal. Wow, how about that type of shit I love in real lifetime? Moves with the Graphinator. Breaking news. Yes, Rosetown, it is true. Our Raiders have moved a 3rd-round pick. So it looks like we moved Devontae Adams and we got Geno Smith. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So there you have it. Rich says, but that's what we were talking about. Rich was, he's a middle of the pack type quarterback. And last year was kind of a down season in Seattle. Still has some production there. I think he threw a ton of picks last year as well. But, their offense wasn't clicking like that last year. I want to see something, see what his production looked like. We talked about this a million times, but I'm going to bring this up. Last year, think about this. He had 4,300 yards in the year. He was fourth in the league in a down year, you guys. 4th in the league in passing yards. 21 touchdowns. So that was 13th in the league, but he threw 15 picks. Okay, he was 107th in the league with 15 picks, a QBR of 53.8, which put him at 21st in the league with QBR, but 4,300 yards. So he didn't have a problem passing the football. Well, let me say this. He did because he threw a ton of picks, but 4,300 yards, that's fourth. So 2-4. It's not that I don't mind. Look, the thing is this. What does it look like moving forward? You just moved a 3rd-round pick for him, right? Are you just going to play him this year and move on from him, and you essentially just wasted a 3rd-round pick, or what? Because he's going to need a new deal. What is this new deal going to look like? He's 34 years old. What is this new deal? Are you signing him to a 2-year deal? Like how is this going to work? I just want to see what the numbers are going to look like with the future, with the future contract. That's all I want to see is what it's going to look like moving forward, because you're probably not signing him to a more than a 2-year deal, because you have to draft his successor. But this is interesting. This is interesting, you guys. Breaking news. Our Raiders have went out and traded for Geno Smith. Wow. Crazy, crazy day in Raider Nation, man. Yeah, Jose, we moved the Devontae pick and picked up a quarterback. What's the news going around Twitter right now? I know people probably freaking out right now. Blockbuster. Seahawks are trading 2-time Pro Bowl QB Geno Smith to the Raiders for a 2025 3rd-round pick. So he wanted to get out of there, you guys. Remember this. I talked about it earlier on the show, you guys. He did say early on in the season, he put a picture up of Pete Carroll, and then he started putting out little quotes here and there that sounded like he wanted his way out of Seattle. So, wow. Max is happy. Max is happy. Let's fucking go. Max is happy. Let me see what else is going on. Wow. Vic puts out there, the Raiders were never terribly excited about the prospect of signing Sam Darnold, so they swing in a trade for Pete Carroll's old buddy, Geno Smith. The Seahawks are now expected to explore veteran quarterback options, with Sam Darnold viewed by league sources as a leading contender. The dominoes begin. Once again, you guys, I said this early on, right? Like, everybody kept saying that the coach out there, that Geno's our guy, and I can't wait to get back to work. Man, that's all smoke. This is what they're supposed to say. This is what they're supposed to say. Simple and plain. But the Aaron Rodgers talk, gone. Justin Fields, gone. You know what, though, you guys? I would not be against still going out and bringing in Zach Wilson. I would not be against bringing in Zach Wilson at a low $3-4 million deal. Bring him in to be your backup. I would love it. I would love it. Or you go out and you get a guy like Shedeur Sanders. What if we don't re-up Geno? What if we just keep him? We draft Shedeur. What if Shedeur is ready after this year? This could be a Sam Darnold type situation for the Raiders, you guys. This could be a Sam Darnold type situation where, next year we have to figure out, will Geno come back on a one-year deal? Or this is only if we draft Shedeur. This could be one of those kind of deals. Let me catch up on these supers, man, real quick. My apologies, guys. Breaking news! Our Raiders make a move and get a quarterback. I'm just happy we have a quarterback in the room. Simple and plain. I'm not the biggest Geno Smith fan, but I'm excited to actually have a starting quarterback in our room. Simple and plain. Is DK's trade out the window now? I would assume. I don't think they're going to move another third-round pick and then potentially, pay DK, but I could be wrong. I wouldn't put it past the Raiders to still make a move. Who's to say? We still have a ton of draft capital, Junior. We just essentially gave away a free draft pick that we got for Devontae Adams. We wanted to get off that contract, moved on from him, and it worked. Evil says, this means Sanders. Okay. Get Wasted on the show. Man, Wasted is doing his Dougie too, man. I'm not going to stop my guy from doing his thing. Salute to Mitch, man. Salute to Rube. Geno is not a decision maker, but has a good arm. Chip isn't West Coast go-through reads. He designs players open. Then if that fails, expects quarterback to play make. This is a good pickup for Chip. I love it, man. Rube always comes through with a fucking haymaker, bro. I love that. Let me read this again. Geno is not a decision maker, but has a good arm. Chip isn't West Coast go-through reads. He designs players open. Then if that fails, expects quarterbacks to play make. And once again, Geno's a playmaker. He can use his legs. This is a good pickup for Chip. Facts. Salute to Hug. With Geno being signed, Pete is trying to build his Super Bowl team with the Raiders like he did in Seattle. Serviceable quarterback and a stud running back. Gene T at 6 incoming. Pete wants to tote the rock, bro. I can see it. Hug. Salute to my brother and the GOAT, my father himself. Salute to Jesse. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section. Breaking news. Raiders have moved a third-round pick for Geno Smith. It looks like we have our quarterback in the future. Or for the now. Let me say that. Would you still go get DK? Really liking a Godwin move now. I can see Godwin being the move because once again, you're not trying to move more draft capital. And think about this. You're moving, let's just say you move a second or your other third round pick for DK. You're going to have to pay him as well. So if I'm a betting man, maybe you bring in Tyler Lockett back. Tyler Lockett could be an option for us right now. You bring him back in or Chris Godwin in free agency. I can see that. I could definitely see that. Another guy that has ties once again to Spytech and Brady. But Jesse, I would still love to at least, play a filler here and see what it is. We already did some business with Seattle. What's up? Let's do business again. What is it going to cost to move DK? What's up? I would definitely still be in the fold for that. Look, I said it earlier on the show, y'all. Pete Carroll was on a plane speaking to Seattle's brass on the way to the combine. Don't think for once that conversation didn't entail some type of, what you doing with my guy? What are you doing with this? What are you doing with that? He's very, very close to the Seattle situation out there. And I believe, wasn't he an advisor for Seattle last year? He wasn't technically, he wasn't a coach, but wasn't he still an advisor? Didn't they still lean on him a little bit? Like the move. Go get Godwin, draft Sanders at 6, build that defense. We coming. Salute to fuck the Chiefs. Salute to the 2,000 plus people in the building. Salute my guy. Tabby's, I'm not a big fan of Geno Smith, but Coach Carroll was the only coach to get the best out of him. So I'm expecting the same, but I don't get Raider vibes from this guy at all. See, I do. See, Top, what happened with some of these guys? Top, I expect you to know this more than anybody. Some of these guys that we brought in were renegades back in the past. We won Super Bowls with guys that were renegades. We brought Rich Gannon in. He was a forgotten guy. He wasn't a guy like that. Became an MVP with the Raiders, went to the Super Bowl. We can go to the 80s, the 70s. We've seen this. This is a Raider move to me. And I feel like Geno went through a rough patch in his career, with the Jets and the Giants and a few teams where it didn't pan out for him. We thought he was going to be that guy coming out of West Virginia, and it just never really worked out. Got to Seattle, started turning the wheels a little bit, changed the trajectory of his career, became a 2-time Pro Bowl guy. I think this is a Raider move, and I do believe that he is a Raider. Mind you, I'm not the biggest fan of Geno Smith, but I'm here for it. Once again, I'm going to support Geno. He's my quarterback now, so I'm going to support him. But this guy went through leaps and bounds. He went through hell to get to where he is now. Sounds like a Raider to me. Do you think we still draft? Yes, El Cheetah, you have to draft a quarterback. You have to. Now, maybe this changes and pivots us from drafting one early and maybe getting a Will Howard in the mid-rounds or Kyle McCord or one of those type of guys. But we're still getting a quarterback, regardless if it's at 6 or later. Definitely still have to get a quarterback, even with Aiden on the roster still. Salute to Larry, my guy. Appreciate you, brother. This is clear. Will Howard will be a Raider and will sit for 2 to 3 years to grow into a starting quarterback. I like your thought process, Larry. Definitely very possible here. Coming off that poor performance at the combine, but also coming off of a natty with Chip Kelly as his OC. Larry, appreciate you, brother. At this point in their careers, man, though, I think so. I do. I think so. At this point in their career. They kind of did the reverse. Geno started bad. DC started pretty good, right? He had a rough rookie year. He got thrown into the fire. But, it's kind of a reversal a little bit. DC started to regress a little bit the last few years. Geno gets better. I think right now this is a better move with us having Geno than Carr, but still it's a middle of the pack kind of move. Was this a Brady move? David, look, this is Pete Carroll and company saying we want our guy. So, I don't know how much say Tom Brady had in this, to be honest. That's an interesting comment right there. But look, we know this is Pete Carroll's former quarterback. So this was a Pete Carroll move. But I'm interested to see how involved Brady was in the process. Let me say that. I think, you know what? Let me say this, David. This was a Pete Carroll move. The quarterback that we get in the draft is a Brady move. Can you live with that? I think that's the move. I think this was a Pete Carroll move. Brady gets the quarterback of the future. Whether that's Shador or Jackson Dart, whoever it is, I think that will be the Brady move. But I do believe he signed off on it for sure. Salute to the damager. I think we're more likely to take Will Howard over Shador and Cam now. O-line with the first, Trayvon with the second, and Will Howard with the third. Move up if necessary. Not mad about that. You take say a Will Campbell or one of those type of guys in round one. You get Trayvon Henderson there, the running back out of Ohio State in round 2. Get a Will Howard in round 3. Not mad about that. Not mad about that at all. Salute the damager. Raider Lux, it says $45 million for Geno is robbery. We're going to see what this looks like. I'd rather have Geno than Fields, to be honest. Okay. Salute to Dirty Dan on the $2 holler. Salute to Darth Raider. First round pick, best available again, like we did with Bowers. Maybe. That may be the move moving forward. But you guys, don't put this past looking at Shador at 6. If he's available, don't put this past the Raiders to still take a quarterback there. Just because we got a guy that is essentially your bridge quarterback, here's your bridge gap quarterback. Don't put it past the Raiders to take a quarterback early. Real talk. Salute to Darth. Salute to Rube. I can see Pete drafted Jalen Noel as a big body deep threat. I think this puts trading up to 1 a lot less likely. I agree. Only trade up to number 1 for a day 1 quarterback. I agree. I think we remain at 6, or I think we move back and pick up some extra draft capital. Salute to Rube. Once again, you guys, breaking news. Our Raiders have made a move, trading 3rd round pick for this 2025 draft for Geno Smith, 2-time Pro Bowler that was 4th in the league in passing yards last year with 4,900 yards, 21 touchdowns, 15 picks. Kind of had a down year with the picks and stuff like that. But Pete got his guy. Welcome Geno Smith to the nation. Now DK on the way. Talk 2-4. Talk that shit, bro. Salute to Jason Hunter. I planned on doing an Andre James being cut and Nate Hobbs not coming back show, but here we are. Breaking news with our quarterback. I like it. A leader, and get that running back and build. Salute to my guy, Raider Demon King. Salute to DB. Let me catch up on these supers real quick, y'all. Shit, after all the effed up years, let's see how this new leadership goes with their mindset. Can't lose anymore when you've been losing. Talk that talk. It's crazy. We did a show this morning talking about Geno Smith being a guy. Look at the show. Look at the show this morning, you guys. Trading the works. And boom. He is a Raider. Craziness. Craziness. Salute to my guy, Raider DB. Salute to Patrick as well. To me, this is just a just-in-case type of move. If we draft a guy we like, we have a competent quarterback. Agreed. Chip should play to his strengths either way. Phenomenal comment by Patrick B. Appreciate you on a $10 special, you guys. A lot of people not liking the trade. I get it. You guys, once again, Geno was not my first option here. We moved some draft capital and we brought him in. It is what it is. Nose ring, no booger, y'all. Salute to El Chito. Not going to lie. I hope we pull an ATL and grab a quarterback early. Very, very possible. Very possible. I can still see that happening. Salute to Chito. Salute to Mondo. Nate Hobbs replaceable, to be honest. I mean, he is. Definitely is. He's a slot corner that misses a ton of football. You're right. Salute to Hug. My dog on a $5 special. Then 15 picks for Geno were about half his fault. About 6 or 7 of them picks were bad wide receiver play. Don't put it all on our new quarterback. One. Look at my guy already defending Geno. I love it. Defending the Raider quarterback. Talk that shit. GT now feels very real at 6 for y'all. I can see it. I can definitely see it. Pete wants to run the football, right? Pete wants to run the football. I can see it. If they believe in GT, I can see it. Salute to Mad Hatter, my guy. Remember the most important thing. We should be looking for the season with the team, the structure of the team now, and culture. Not every move is sexy. Talk that talk. Salute to Mad Hatter on the 5. But you know what, though, bro? This is a big move. You guys. It's a big move. I mean, bro, we just traded a 3rd-round pick for a quarterback, a 2-time Pro Bowler. Not saying that this guy's going to move the needle and win us a championship, but I'm just stating the obvious here. This is a major move. These guys are not playing. They couldn't get Matthew Stafford. That ship has sailed. They move on, and they send a 3rd-round pick out to get Geno Smith. This is a major move for our Raiders. Like, these guys are really making moves. I'm not mad at this. They bring in a guy that has won some games out there in Seattle. Has had some success out there in Seattle, specifically under Pete Carroll. So, hey, we shall see. I wonder how Shedeur is looking at this, or some of these other young quarterbacks that potentially thought the Raiders. I wonder how their thought process behind this is did they go get him to not get me, or did they go get him in order to get me? Chargers release Gus Edwards. Seen that happening. Geno traded to the – that's crazy. Crazy. I'm good with this if we land Shedeur. There you go. Trav, I'm good with this. If you go get Zach Wilson now, who's only 25 years old and has a ton of talent, you just need somebody to bring it out of him. That can be your future quarterback of the future. Like, honestly, you don't even have to use a draft pick on a quarterback. If you go get Zach Wilson, you sit him behind, the likes of our new quarterback, Geno Smith, for $3-4 million. That may be the move. Then you could take the best player available there at 6. But I'll tell you now, you guys, this was a move that puts the Raiders in play. They're trying to win football games now. Now, I'm not saying a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that make a massive run in the playoffs. This is a move right now for the Raiders that they want to compete immediately. They want to compete immediately. They brought a proven commodity in Geno Smith, and they want to win ball games. I've said this, Mando, and I've got a lot of shit for it. I don't think that AOC is going to be on this roster. I don't think he's going to be on this roster come week 1. And a lot of people beat me up for it. And I like Aiden O'Connell, you guys. I beat the pavement for him to be the starter last year. I don't think that he's going to be on this roster. I don't. Even if you don't bring in Zach Wilson, even if you go draft a quarterback, I still don't think that AOC is going to be on this roster. Ray detailing. When are we going to have Paul on? All right, so my brother Paul Duracell. I can do that anytime, Ray. I'll reach out to him and bring him on the show. That'd be fun, man. I was supposed to meet up with him at the combine, but I ended up doing some stuff with Stu and I didn't make it. But I'll reach out to him and get him on the show. I'll let him know that the nation wants to see him on. What's Geno's rushing stats? Let's go to the stats. Let's go to the files real quick. Rushing last season, he had 272 yards on the ground. In 2022, he had 366. So there you have it. The most he's ever had in his career was 366 in 2022, 366 his rookie year with the Jets. But last year he had 272. He still uses legs. Salute to 707, man, my God. Fairfield, Vallejo, Vacaville, Davis, all my people here from the 707. Salute to you. I'm good with it. Draft GT or T-Mac in the first, or you could trade down and get Amarion Hampton or Jackson Dart. Salute to my God. You guys know how I feel about Amarion Hampton. Would love to have him in the building. I'm not big on taking T-Mac there at 6, but I will. If we're going to take any player there early, it's going to be GT. Salute to Chance. Not a sexy move. I would rate it a C+. Maybe Pete is trying to get Geno back to his prior years with him. Ceiling is a B+ acquisition. I agree with you, Chance. I cannot argue with that take, brother. I think this is a C+, B- type move that could potentially pay dividends for you. You could potentially be something here. But this, once again, you guys, I don't think it's a move where we're going to go win a championship right now with Geno Smith. I'm not going to jump the gun here and be Mr. Optimistic and just say, oh, this is a Super Bowl type move. No, this is a move that will allow us to compete in the AFC West this year. And especially it gives you the familiarity with Pete Carroll. He already knows what's expected of him. Hey, is what it is. And we gave up a 3rd-round pick that we didn't even have until we moved Devontae Adams. So it is what it is. Salute to Jesse. Go all out year 1. I don't want to see P6 used on a quarterback. Why? Pick 6 on a quarterback. Why can't Geno be the next Plunkett? Never know. Real talk. We have meaningful things to talk about. Enjoy it. Salute to Jesse, man, my guy. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Salute to you on a $5 special. Dom, let me say this. I'm happy we have a quarterback. I like Geno Smith. I don't love Geno Smith. Hopefully he makes me love him going into Vegas and goes out there and kills it. I've watched him very closely for years. I rooted for him early on coming out of West Virginia, and I know he has some tough years with the Jets and the Giants, the Chargers. Then he got to Seattle when he kind of changed the trajectory of his career. I like the move. I don't love the move. That's it. Like the move, don't love the move. Not upset about the move, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say I'm the happiest person, but I'm happy that we have a quarterback. I'm just happy we have a quarterback. That's not named Aiden O'Connell, not named Desmond Ridder, not named Carter Bradley, not named Gardner Minshew. I'm just happy that we have a serviceable quarterback in the building. Now, the only way I love this move, you guys, is if we take a quarterback at 6. If we end up with Shedeur at 6, then I love the move. If we don't and we go get a quarterback in the middle rounds, I just like the move. But if we go get a quarterback early and we're letting Geno know ahead of time, you are our bridge guy, I'm cool with it. To be determined, but I like the move. I don't love the move. Dirty Dan says, draft GT at pick 6, pick up Najee in free agency. Got that Lions duo, running back duo. Talk that talk. I just wonder how much Najee is going to cost in free agency. I just wonder how much he's going to cost. But I do know that there'd be some interest on Najee's part, and it's going to be interesting to see if the Raiders are interested in bringing in Najee Harris. The Marshawn Lynch effect with Pete Carroll. He represents Najee Harris. He's from the Bay Area, grew up watching the Raiders. We shall see. One Nation. There you go. There you go. Look what Spy Tech and company did with Baker. Talk that talk. You know what? We don't even have to say that one, Nation. Look what Pete Carroll did with Geno Smith. We don't even have to go to Spy Tech with Baker. We could just go off of what Pete did with Geno Smith. I love what you said there, but we could go off of what Pete has already done with our new QB1. So there you have it. There you go, elite. Elite with the heat. Facts. 4,300 yards last year in the down season in that offense in Seattle. Heat check. I just said it, brother. I like him. Don't love him. Hopefully he changes my thought process on that. This is a move that I like. I'm not in love with it. I'm in like with it. But he is definitely a serviceable quarterback. He can use his legs to extend plays. He has the arm to make every throw. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And you only give up a third-round pick that you initially didn't have before you moved on to Devontae Adams. So here's what it is. Lewis says, let's build a culture with Geno. I'm not mad at it. Yeah, one of the worst O-lines in the league last year. I didn't know they were ranked 30th, though. Golly, bro. So for him to do that, that's why a lot of those picks, 15 picks last season, right? 30th last season. Hey, Sean, guess another quarterback right now that we can get that had a terrible O-line in no run game. It's another guy out there that you can get that had no O-line and no ground game. Shador High Stakes Sanders. Let me see. Yeah, I don't agree with you, Nation of Pillagers. I appreciate you, brother, on the comment though, but yeah, I don't think they're comparable at all. And you can't say outside of mobility. That's a major skill set that Chip would probably like to run with this system. It's gonna be a lot of RPO and all that good stuff. Like you have to be able to mobility is a major key to a lot of these quarterback success at the NFL level. Patrick Mahomes is essentially a pocket passer, but he can use his legs and extend plays and do all kind of damage. Joe Burrow can use his legs. I've seen him dash off for some shit. You have to be able to do that. That's not AOC's game at all. Anytime he even takes a step out the pocket, it looks like he's walking in concrete. So I have to disagree with you with that, brother. I don't think he's comparable to Geno Smith at all. We're talking about a guy that's been in the NFL for many moons, two-time Pro Bowl that threw 4,300 yards last season. Let me see. Is there any new news right now, you guys? I want to see what this looks like. I want to see what the extension is going to look like. Rossini, Geno Smith expected to get a new deal with the Raiders. He's looking to make between $40 and $45 million. Once again, you guys, $40 to $45 million sounds like a lot of money, but in today's NFL, that's the asking price. I am more comfortable paying a Geno Smith that kind of money than a Sam Darnold, who had 1 year of production last year in a system that was tailored to him. I would rather pay $40 million for a Geno Smith. But it looks like we're working on a new deal with Geno. Jackson Powers Johnson. Geno, let's get it. He's excited to block for him up front. Scout stupid. Deanna Rossini put out, Geno Smith is expected to get a new deal with the Las Vegas Raiders. He's been looking to make between 40 and 40. Excuse me? We shall see what that looks like. But once again, you guys, I'm not a big, major fan of Geno Smith. I said it on the show earlier. Max is really happy. So serviceable quarterback. We've kind of took the same approach, you guys, that we always have. We kind of took the approach of go get a veteran, bring him in and hope that bridge guy can be the guy to help you move forward. This is such a Raider move. It is. I just hope that they stop the bleeding with these kind of moves, drafting a quarterback in this year's draft. That's it. As long as we draft a quarterback, I am 150% behind this move. Simple and plain. But if he's signing a new deal, he's getting a new deal, it just depends on how the duration of that deal. Because once again, you're not drafting Shedeur Sanders at 6 if you're signing Geno to a 3-4 year extension. So I want to see how they work this. Maybe it is the Will Howard effect. Maybe it is one of those guys. This will solidify the trenches for Waga. You stupid, bro. Salute to my guy LT, damn near naming all the ooses at the NFL level. Appreciate you, bro. Salute to Kitty. Good pickup. Also, we still have comp picks. We'll still have some comp picks potentially. Nate Hobbs and some other guys that may move. If Merrick leaves, we're looking at some comp picks here. Salute to Kenny. Mimo, my guy, appreciate you on a $10 special. I think I'm caught up on the supers here. It's a good move. He's a good bridge quarterback for the quarterback we'll be drafting. Plus, we used the draft pick we didn't even have before the Adams trade. It's a B grade for me. Raiders. Salute to my guy. I want your guys' opinion here. We got almost 2,800 people in the building right now. What do you grade this move? What do you grade this move? Let me know in the comments section. A, B, C, D, F, F minus, F plus. How do you guys grade this? Salute to Hug with a $50 special. My brother, I appreciate you very, very much. Remember, this is the first season in about 8 coaches. We have one with a winning record. Our team will absolutely look and play differently. Anyone in here throwing stones is just showing that pussy. You have to trust and believe. Y'all new here? Talk that talk, Hug. Talk. I love it, brother. I love it. I see a lot of B's, a lot of C's. Elite has B minus. Birdbeak has a D. B plus. Edgar has it as an F. Operator D minus. Top Beats has a B. Ant got a B minus. F minus for Rowdy Raider. Damn. Mr. Pessimistic in the building. JM A plus 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 plus. Okay. Rich, A minus. Okay. Salute to you guys with the grades in the building. Hug, my brother. Love you. Thank you so much for the $50 special. And this is Factory Outlet, man. Salute to you. Salute to Kyle on a $5 special as well. Appreciate you. You didn't even say nothing. You just donated. Salute to you, man. Salute to you. I thought this was going to be a 10, 15-minute live, but we got breaking news, you guys. Our Raiders have went out and traded a 3rd-round pick, and it looks like he's likely to get a new deal here between $40 to $45 million per year. And this is coming from Diana Rossini of The Athletic. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. We're going to have a lot to talk about in free agency moving forward. This is what Scout put out there, and I'm going to look this up real quick. But the Raiders take on $25 million cap hit with the addition of Geno Smith. Now at $57.7 million in cap space, not counting James and Minshew yet. Remember that. Can look to restructuring Christian Wilkins to add more space if necessary. So we're still essentially somewhere, let's just say with James and Minshew, we'll be probably around $65 million. And then you can still restructure Christian Wilkins and have a shit ton of money. Still damn near have 90, somewhere north of $80, $90 million. So once again, you guys, let's just say we don't restructure Christian Wilkins. We can still be in that $65 to $70 million ballpark. We'll save $1.5 million cutting Andre James, and I believe we'll save somewhere roughly around $7 to $8 million cutting Gardner Minshew, or somewhere in that 6 to 7 range. So we're still going to have a ton of money to play with come free agency, which is great. It is great. And we go into free agency, you guys, knowing that we have a quarterback. Once again, and I'm not going to be here selling you guys smiles and shit. Once again, I'm not the biggest Geno Smith guy, but I'm excited to see, what he can do moving forward. I can see that, Elite. I can see it. And I asked him at the Shrine Bowl, the video's up on my channel right now about potentially being with the Raiders. He kind of laughed. You know, I brought up Tom Brady. He was like, man, I would love it. If they took a flyer on me, he'd love it. And it's funny because Kyle McCord's dad is a Broncos fan, a diehard Broncos fan. So it'd be fucking hilarious if we took my Kyle McCord and he became a Raider. I like that though. Let me see. Salute the top beast, my brother, and one of the GOATs over here as well. Appreciate you gifting 10 OLV Raiders Network memberships. My brother, salute to you. Salute to all the new members in the building. If you guys missed out on those 10 and want to become a member, hit the link. It's pinned up top. Brother, I love you. Happy birthday once again to our brother Top Beats in the building. Hug once again. This also keeps our team sneaky in the draft. 31 other teams don't know what we're doing. Spy Tech doing Spy Tech-ish. Yeah. So to sum this up, I mean, we'll still hang out for a little while, you guys. But to sum this up, the Raiders today made some moves. It looks like we're moving on from Nate Hobbs in free agency. We cut Andre James and we went out and traded a 3rd-round pick for Geno Smith. The Raiders have been moving and grooving this past week leading up to the free agency period. It's crazy. Hug, you ain't never lied, bro. Great comment. Great comment. Salute to Sky High as well. I give this move a B-. I'll be happier if we draft Shador or Dart, though. Anyone else just seems to like a whole lot of mid. We have to draft a dog at running back. 2 of them, Sky High. 2 of them. I mean, we had to assume, you guys, that Pete was going to come in the building and bring in some Seattle guys, right? Like, we had to assume that. Like, I'm just waiting for my phone to go off that we brought in Tyler Lockett, a guy that already has camaraderie with Geno Smith, a guy that played an extensive amount of time under Pete Carroll in Seattle. It's only a matter of time before we bring in Lockett, right? After he spent 10 years in Seattle. I'm just assuming that Pete's going to bring in another one of his guys. If we don't make that trade for DK, which I don't, that it became a lot less of an option now to do that. I'm assuming that, we're going to bring in Lockett to potentially be a guy that can come in and give Geno that familiarity at wide receiver. Geno's going to have fun with Brock Bowers. He's going to have fun with Brock Bowers. Real talk. He's going to have a lot of fun with him at the tight end position. He's going to have a lot of fun with Jacoby Myers. This is going to be a fun offense with Chip Kelly calling it, you guys. And we also have a guy, once again, and I said this already on the show today, a quarterback that can utilize his legs. I'm excited to see that RPO. That run pass option, seeing him get loose, using his legs, getting outside the pocket and making some moves. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do moving forward. Salute to Hammer. Yep, Geno, we're drafting a quarterback. Yep, we moved a 3rd-round pick, little bro, for him. So, but I give this move a B-. I'm here for it, Sky High. Salute to you. Salute to Rube on the $5 special as well. And he got to canonize that. This is facts. Facts. This move is not a tank move. It shows the league, a.k.a. free agents, we're going all in to win. Smart not to wait until the draft. This sets the tone for player. Bro, Rube is coming in here dropping some haymakers today, man. Salute to my guy on the $5 special. This is facts. Facts plus tax. And to be honest, Rube, don't you make that move before free agency regardless? Because if you're trying to sell any quarterback to come into this situation with Aiden O'Connell being the only quarterback that you really have in that room outside of Carter Bradley, right? Or Gardner Minshew, who's going to be gone here soon. This is the move to make right now because now you can sell Godwin. We got a 2-time Pro Bowler as the quarterback. Come on in. Whoever it is. If you want to bring in one of those veteran guys, you can sell them on. We got a quarterback in the room. This was the time to do it before the draft hit. Facts. Salute to RS. How crazy would it be if history repeats itself with Pete? We trade for Geno and pay him. We draft someone, they end up winning the job, which essentially you would want to happen, RS. Honestly, essentially you would want that to happen. I mean, you wouldn't want it to happen if you're paying him $45 million with an extension. But if you bring in a rook and he comes in on a rookie deal and beats him out, hey, man, it is what it is. It is what it is. And I think that Spy Tech make sure that this contract has an out in it. He's 34 years old, right? He's a 2-time Pro Bowler, but they're gonna structure this contract the right way. RS with a bomb. Darnold at $40 million, a 34-year-old. Smith, $45 million and no compensation for Darnold. Hey, man, look, once again, James, we have a head coach that has been in the league for many moons. Won a national championship at USC, won a championship with Seattle, right? You want to go into this with some familiarity as to what you're trying to do. You're trying to create a culture out there. What has he said since day one, since he stepped in the building, that, you know, you want your quarterback to not have to be the guy that has to go out there and win you every game and so on and so forth. You want to put pieces around him that takes the pressure off your quarterback. So what happens here? He goes out and gets a guy he's very, very familiar with, that he spent a lot of time with, that there's a mutual respect, a mutual love for, right? Sam Darnold has no familiarity with these guys in the building. There's no ties to him. And once again, he had 1 year of production. This is a guy in Geno that had a down year last year and still threw for almost 4,900 yards in the air, 4th in the league. So if you're going to come back at 73 years old, I'm assuming that you want somebody in the building that you're familiar with. And that's what happened here. Once again, I don't love the move, James, but I like the move. Salute to Kyle. Sanders' most common NFL comp is Geno Smith. We talked about that previously on the show today. Prime and TB12 both say agree. New quarterbacks need time to develop. Shady about to learn from his direct NFL comp. Talk, Kyle, talk. Shador, baby, to Vegas. Talk that talk. Salute to my guy, Kyle, with a $5 bomb. Salute to Spivey, the Kevin Nash of Shieldmore. I appreciate you, my brother. Gifting 5 OLV Raiders Network memberships. Salute to all the new members in the building because of Spivey, because of Top Beats. We appreciate you guys so much. If you guys missed out on those, hit the link. It's pinned up top. It definitely helps us keep the lights on over here. Shador lock? We shall see, because this is the thing right here. If you're trying to win now, do you make the move for Shador, right? Because essentially you're using your pick 6 on the future, right? So I don't really truly know if Shador is a lock right now. I would love, if we get Shador, I love this move with Geno Smith. I absolutely love it. I love it. But who's to say? I don't know. They want to win now. So, Hammer, you are at work, bro. I'm not going to pull you up on the live while you're at work, bro. Wi-Fi all fucked up. Come in, fucking the show up. Where you at right now? Salute the Rube. Definitely will send it, though, bro. Let me know if you're somewhere with some Wi-Fi. I still think we go in looking for a young quarterback this year or next year. Max contract front-loaded so we can pay a young quarterback in his second contract and not have the Bengals issue. We're still in play for a young quarterback. Talk that talk, brother. Talk, Rube. Talk. You know what's so crazy, though? I have this nagging suspicion, you guys, that next year Joe Burrow is going to force himself out of Cincinnati. Like, I really believe that he's going to be like, get me out of here. And we would have all the draft capital, all the money to do it. But now, boom, we went and got Geno Smith, and it looks like we're going to sign him to an extension for a nice chunk of change. So, you know, that would suck. That would suck, but here we are. All right, Hammer, I'm going to send it over, bro. Check your Instagram. Breaking news, you guys. Our Raiders got our quarterback, Geno Smith. The Raiders sent a 3rd-round pick to Seattle for their guy, 34-year-old, 2-time Pro Bowl quarterback. And Pete Carroll's guy, Geno Smith. Let me send this over to Hammer. I got so many messages, bro. My phone is crazy right now. All right, let me see. Hammer, check your IG. Salute to Rube, man. I appreciate you, brother, on another $10, man. That means a lot, bro. Let me see. Yeah, name, that's facts. Shador learning from Geno, smart idea. This move screams GT. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. Cap said we traded Adams for Smith. Essentially. Hey, it is what it is. He says, no way Geno is a solid NFL starting quarterback. This is a good move. Facts. 34 years old. Still got a lot left in the tank, you guys. But we are spending a nice chunk of change on our quarterback. Isaiah, yeah, I didn't know that they had a 30th ranked offensive line last year. I had no clue. They couldn't run the football like that. And once again, that turns into Geno throwing 15 picks. They still threw the football all over the place last year. 4th in the league in passing yards. I mean, think about this, you guys. We have right now a top 5 passing quarterback if you're going off last year's production. So, yo.
What up?
What up, bro? Oh, yeah. See, I knew it. You're wild.
Geno Smith, bro.
Okay, there you go. You good. I mean, hey.
Geno Smith, really?
Get your shit off. How you feeling?
What is he? He wants a contract extension already?
It looks like we're going to give him a new deal roughly between $40 to $45 million.
How many years are we talking?
It'd probably be a 2-year, maybe 3-year, third team option type deal. You know, we're going to get a quarterback in this year's draft.
Yeah, because like I know this is the final year of his contract. He's owed 14.8. So I don't know, like definitely didn't expect this. We have a quarterback. Like realistically, everybody's gonna be like, oh, what about Aiden O'Connell? Geno Smith is better than Aiden O'Connell, guys. Sorry, not sorry when I say that to y'all. But I definitely think that they're gonna
Scout said we take on a $25 million cap hit. So now we're at pretty much $60 million right now in cap space.
Shit.
I don't know if this is the exact number, but this is just Scout putting it out there on Twitter. He's pretty good with these numbers and stuff. So think about it.
Does that include the
Go ahead.
Does that include the $15 million allocated to the draft?
No.
So that would put us at 51.
It doesn't add the Andre James $1.5 million, and it doesn't add the Minshew. Essentially, the Minshew and Andre James money pays for the draft.
Okay. Bye, James. I fucking told you. Kick rocks, bro.
$1.5 million. You save $1.5 million for him, and then what do we save with moving on Minshew? We save roughly $6 to $8 million, somewhere in that range. I think somewhere along the line. So, Lumpy Shark, I'm not reading that.
Damn, I haven't heard that name in a long time. Welcome back.
I don't know. Is that a real name or is that one of those names that they're trying to catch us with?
Lumpy. Yo, that dude's been around forever.
No, I know Lump. I'm talking about the guy or whatever his name is. I don't know what
don't pronounce it. Don't pronounce it. Do not pronounce it. Please don't pronounce it.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm not doing it, bro. You're not going to catch me lacking. You're not going to catch me lacking. For those who are just joining you guys,
what would you give this? Like, what would you grade this?
A C+. I don't love the move, but I like the move. This can be a B+ to me if we draft a quarterback. If we still draft a quarterback early.
Yes.
This can convert to a B+. So, but once again, we've talked about this, right? Like, this is just a middle of the pack type of guy again. It's like another situation where it's like you're I don't know, man. I don't know. Cap says Ian Rappaport just said this doesn't make sense. Let me see this.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Let me see that. I want to see.
Now the media is gonna have a whole bunch of fucking shit to talk now.
Nina Kimes is pissed. She's a Seattle fan. She said flat out, a terrible move by Seattle. Chances of upgrading are extremely low. So let me see.
Ian Rappaport says this doesn't make sense. I'm waiting for Jordan Schultz to hit him with a left hook.
I can see Gene-T though. I can see Gene-T at 6 now.
Somebody in the chat said that. This is definitely way out of left field. This is why you really cannot trust a GM or a head coach when it comes to any player. Because it truly, like, they're full of shit. Like, their head coach said weeks ago, like, Geno is our starting quarterback. Well, not anymore. And what does that mean for Seattle now? What is Seattle's move? What are they trying to do? What's the quarterback?
It sounds like they're pivoting. The report is they're pivoting to Sam Darnold. But it sounds like Darnold it sounds like he's going to remain potentially in Minnesota. So, but if they allow him to hit free agency, expect Seattle to be in on Sam Darnold.
If you're if you're a team that's on the market for a quarterback, not scratch that. If you're JJ McCarthy and the Vikings give Darnold an extension, do you demand a trade?
If you're JJ?
Yes.
No. You're on a rookie deal. You're coming off of a devastating injury. Just depends on what the deal looks like. If he signs a 1 to 2 year deal, the second year being like a team option,
yeah,
they're preserving JJ. Why not?
Yeah.
Now, if he's ready to go, and you're still not playing him, maybe they come to some type of resolution down the line. But I don't think that he's going to demand out of Minnesota because he may not be ready to go yet. How do you feel about? Did you see the other part where it looks like we're allowing Nate Hobbs to leave in free agency?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
Neither. Yeah. Who is Shador's comp? A lot of people say it's Geno Smith.
Golf.
Some people say golf. Some people say Joe Burrow. But a lot of comps that Shador has gotten have been Geno Smith. So
let me get my ass out of here. I got to get back inside. I got like 3 hours left. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, big bro. And I'll see you guys.
Give me when you get off. All right. Salute to Hammer pulling up for a split second. Rapport probably, yeah, that's what he's saying. He's not saying how does it not make sense for the Raiders? I think it meant for Seattle, like, wow, you just moved your starting quarterback with no real game plan in sight. What's the backup plan? What's the plan B? This makes total sense for the Raiders. We said this earlier on the show that it makes sense for Geno, the show earlier today. It makes sense. I think he meant it made no sense for Seattle. DZ, there you go. Yeah, I couldn't see Ian. Like, how does it not make sense? It literally, you have Pete Carroll, his former head coach, that got the best out of him when he went over to Seattle. It makes total sense. Gonzalez, Geno MVP incoming. So stop. If all top 3 quarterbacks are off the board at 6, I can see Spytech trading back and picking up a second, which will allow us to get a Will Howard and a Trey Henderson, so we won't lose by giving up our 3rd rounder. If all top 3 quarterbacks are off the board at 6, which they won't, there'll only be 2 off the board, if anything, even though I think Shador will be there. I can see Spytech trading back, pick up a second, Will Howard. I can see that. Salute to top. Salute to top. Look, that may be the plan. There's so many options now. Top, you have a starting quarterback, right? Like, you have a starting quarterback now. There's so many options that out there now. You can literally pivot to Gene T if you want. You can sit there and see it. Now, if Shador doesn't drop to 6, you're not in trouble. If he's there at 6, now there's a decision to be made. You bring in Shador. Now, there's going to be a lot of noise around Shador, you guys. If Geno throws a pick, people in that building are going to be screaming for Shador. Do you want to go through that? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm telling you now, one false move from Geno, and people are going to get Shador in the game. So, I don't know. King Savage, you were tweaking, bro. Said Geno's not a starting quarterback. That man threw for 4,300 yards last season. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler. What do you mean he's not a starting quarterback? I'm not here to sell you that he's a top 5, even top 10 quarterback, but he's a top 15 quarterback. He was the 4th highest. He had the fourth most passing yards in last year amongst all quarterbacks. 4th. He was 4th in the league last year in passing yards with a terrible O-line, 30th ranked O-line in a run game that couldn't get going. Maybe they pivot and go Milroe in the 2nd round. Who's to say? Who's to say? Going to be interesting to see where Jalen Milroe goes. Gotham says Seattle tried to trade DK Metcalf and Geno Smith. Yeah, please. That ain't going to happen. No, sorry, Bob. Who said that? Gotham? Did it come out on Twitter or something like that? I want to look and see where this. Geno Smith. Okay, here. This is from Jordan Schultz, you guys. Geno requested a trade Thursday night from the Seahawks after the two sides were unable to find common ground on a long-term extension. Pete Carroll with Tom Brady fully on board. So this was a Tom move as well, you guys. Tom is fully on board with this. Spoke to his old buddy, John Schneider, about the framework of a trade throughout the evening and well into today. Seattle wanted significant draft capital in return and felt satisfied with the third rounder in next month's draft. So there you have it. So he requested a trade yesterday, and the Raiders were in talk. Damn, now this is something, you guys. I'm always, all for respecting all the guys that write for this team, but god damn, brother, there was no information on this. Like, there was no information. Like, nobody had any inside information on this. The only person that wrote about this was Diana Rossini today about the Raiders, trying to make some calls potentially in the trade market. What the fuck is going on? None of our guys have any inside scoop on this shit. Damn. Salute the Rube. If Sanders slides past the Raiders, how far does he slide? I don't know. Would other teams take a flyer on him in the first? Maybe the Saints. Maybe we can trade back into the back of the first if he slides far enough to get the fifth year. Would be great, Rube. That'd be perfect if it happened that way. But there'd be a team. Keep an eye on Pittsburgh. If he failed, maybe Pittsburgh looks at him. The Saints are a team that could potentially use another quarterback, even though they took Spencer Rattler last year and they still have DC under contract. There could be some other teams. Indianapolis isn't sold on Anthony Richardson. I don't know. There could be a couple other teams. Keep an eye on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh would be an interesting team. Salute to Rube. Salute to Spy V in the building. Geno looks better than when we took Gannon. Yeah, Gannon wasn't Gannon 34? Was Gannon 34? I could have swore Gannon was 34 years old when he came over to the Raiders. This made me look. If we're lucky, we can get that type of move. Salute to 88 in the building with the $10 special. I get that he's a starter, but he's a middle of the pack QB. We getting a rookie quarterback and building for the future. I thought we were going to try and win now. We winning now with Geno. We could if you put the right team around him. We potentially can win now. Now, I don't know what winning now means to you, 88. Is it winning a Super Bowl? Is it getting to the playoffs? Is it potentially winning a wild card? Is it getting to the playoffs and losing there? I don't know right now what you mean in terms of win now, because I don't think that this roster is put together to win a Super Bowl right now. Now, we can win some games. We can potentially go on a nice little run and find ourselves in a wild card, which in year one with Pete Carroll will be phenomenal. I'm not asking Pete to take this team from one of the worst teams in the league to win in the Super Bowl next year. But, hey, Graham says DK Metcalf on the way. Man, what does that cost you? What does that cost you? I don't know if he's really honestly here or he's honestly available. I got so many text messages and shit. I don't know. Let me say, he's available, you guys. I don't know if we're going to be the team to go get him. Because now you'd have to part ways with another draft pick, and then you would have to – could you imagine trying to re-up Geno and DK Metcalf? They're both on expiring deals. I think the chances of bringing in a DK Metcalf at this point are slim to none. Can it happen? Yes. But maybe they just bring in Geno and then they go with a cheaper option and bring in Tyler Lockett, another guy that played with Geno and played under Pete Carroll. And says, Graphk, you're the one with connections. We getting DK. Now, I haven't heard anything about that. Salute to Spivey. With an O-line and a decent runner, Geno is solid. There you go. Give any quarterback a decent O-line and a ground game, and they're going to be fine. Real talk. DC's best year in 2016. He had a great offensive line. We had a good ground game. We were rolling. That's realistically what Pete was trying to say, Spivey, was you know, we can't put everything on a quarterback's shoulders. You have to put things around them in order to make to allow them to compete and be successful. Once again, you go out there and get Alex Kappa. I didn't like the move. I hate the move. He was one of the worst guards in the NFL last year. But who's to say he can't get better this year in a new system, new scheme? You know, I think that this system is going to be a lot better and be a little tailor-made more to his skill set than it was last year in Cincinnati. But yes, build an O-line up, give him a nice ground game, and Geno can be successful for sure. You guys, we just got a real solid quarterback. It's not the sexiest move. We didn't go out there and trade for fucking Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow. We didn't get Matthew Stafford. I understand. Geno has the same amount of Pro Bowls as Matthew Stafford. That's fucking crazy. I mean, that's not really saying a lot. I think DC has 4. He has 2 more than Matthew Stafford and Geno, but Geno will fit Chip's offense. I believe so. Albert Breer reported Seattle wanted max for Geno. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Let me look at that. I'm gonna look that tweet up. Let me see. A lot of news going on today. Look at Josh DeBow. Josh DeBow cannot help himself. Wow, is Geno the best Raiders quarterback since Gannon? He just cannot help himself. Just loves taking shots at Derek Carr. So Jordan also said the Seahawks have been engaged in contract negotiations with Geno Smith all week. Seattle was not willing to come to the number he desired, while the two sides quietly explored potential destinations. Meanwhile, the Raiders always have been a huge fan. Pete Carroll has always been a huge fan of Smith, while two have maintained a friendship even after Carroll left the team. Of note as well, Tom Brady was also on board with the move to acquire Smith per multiple sources. Now I'm looking up Albert Breer. I want to see what he said about the potential. The Seahawks opened trade discussions with the Raiders with this blockbuster proposal. Geno Smith and DK Metcalf to Vegas for Max Crosby. Vegas quickly, all capital letters, you guys, shot that down and told Seattle that Crosby was not available. But talks continued and led to Geno becoming a Raider. The idea of Sam Darnold going to Seattle has a lot of traction in league circles. So there you have it. Maybe Sam Darnold ends up being plan B for Seattle. Craziness, man. Craziness. Facts, nations. This is facts. And they won a Super Bowl together. Spytech is very familiar with Kappa's game as well. But that's okay. If you don't get DK now, think about this. And I'm not saying you use a second round pick on a wide receiver, but you can go get a Trey Harris, 6'3", 6'4", big body wide receiver out of Ole Miss there if you choose to. There's going to be other options there in the mid rounds as well. So, you don't have to move some draft capital to go get DK Metcalf. There's going to be other options out there. To think about it, Pete wants to compete now. What's better than a previously coached quarterback in the pocket with familiarity with Pete's tendencies? F dangerous. There you go. And think about that, you guys. You could have got Russell Wilson for next to nothing and didn't have to move any draft capital. Pete Carroll was very familiar with him and chose not to go that route. Yeah, facts. You essentially moved Devontae and that contract, right? Even swap. Let me see. Salute to everybody here in the build. I see a lot of new names. Make sure you guys wipe them feet. Hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, what are y'all waiting on? Hit that subscribe button. Sammy says 4,900 yards and 30 touchdowns under Carroll. Yeah, that was. Oh, he's never threw for 4,900. The most he threw under Pete Carroll was 4,282 yards. That was the most. He had 30 touchdowns, though. You're right. He had 4,200. He had 30 touchdowns to 11 picks. And the QBR of 62.8. So he had a really good year in 2022 with Pete Carroll in the building. 4,200, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks. No, it's all good, Samuel. Appreciate you, brother. But yeah, man, craziness, you guys. We have a lot to talk about this week leading into free agency. We just traded a third round pick. We have our QB1 and Geno Smith. We move on from Andre James, saving $1.5 million towards this year's salary cap. It sounds like we're moving on from Nate Hobbs. He'll be free to go wherever he wants in free agency. We're making some moves, you guys. We're bringing Alex Kappa a few days ago, the guard from Cincinnati, 2-year, $11 million deal, $5.5 million per. You know what I mean? Like we're making some moves here. Like things are starting to really gain some traction here, man. The one thing I love about this is, you guys, the Raiders' names have been in every single discussion with big-time players. Whether that was Matthew Stafford being this close to potentially bringing him in, the Sam Darnold coming off a big year, Pro Bowl year where they went 14-3. We're in the mix with that. Just I love to see that the Raiders are really turning every stone over and trying to get this team better. You love to see it, man. Dan, I interviewed Will Shepherd, and he said he would love to be a Raider. He would love to be a Raider. Paul, it was the Devontae Adams pick. It wasn't our third round pick. It was the Jets' third. 4,230 touchdowns with a shit all line and over. Talk that talk. Talk that talk. Why y'all keep telling me that Waste is live? You act like I don't know my brother's live. We talked on the phone before previously. Look, you guys, one thing y'all need to know about this is this, right? Wasted is my brother. I love him. He's probably the best friend that I have in this world. One of them, right? And the thing is this. He's going to do his thing. I'm going to do my thing sometimes. And we're going to come together and form like Voltron, and we're going to have a great show with us. But, man, he's trying to separate himself as well and be his own, his own man in this shit. And I love that. And I do the same thing. Salute to my bro, man. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him, man. He's the one guy that if I decided to ever leave this thing, that I know he would continue to be full steam ahead and doing his thing. And I wouldn't have to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Jerry West, cringe my ass, bro. Just saying, man, that's my guy. Oh, okay. You're talking about the quarterback. Got you. My bad. Let me see. Some of y'all have some of us compromised right now, though. Nah, I wouldn't want to do that, South Seas. I wouldn't want to do that. You don't move a third round pick to bring in the likes of a Geno Smith to have a rookie go in there and fuck up his groove. You don't bring in a guy in Geno Smith who's played a shit ton of football to bench him every second quarter to have a young guy go in there and get some reps in. That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't. At this point, third. I would say third. And he has a good case to potentially, get ahead of Herbert, to be honest. But I got to be honest here. I go third. We have a better quarterback than Denver right now. Bo Nix had a good rookie year. He has to build on that. You know what I mean? I'd say we have the third best quarterback in the league and closer to that second. I'm not here to say he's better than Herbert, but sometimes you just never know with Herbert. So, but yeah, man. Get a few more questions in, you guys, before we get out of here. Once again, this was supposed to be the Andre James stream, the Nate Hobbs talk, and now we're here talking about the Raiders making a move and sending a third round pick to Seattle for Pete Carroll's guy, Geno Smith. So, Rick, why would you say that? Why would you say that? I don't know why you would say Geno's not down with that. Why would you say that? There's no proof of that at all. He was once a guy that, came into the league and was probably looking for that. It's probably why he struggled with the Jets and struggled with other teams. Let me see. Bad move. Geno is not the solution. Darth, I'm not saying he's the solution 4 years down the line, 5 years down the line, 3 years down the line, but he's a great option to have right now in the building. So Geno has famously said that when he was with the Jets. With the Jets. Bro, I mean, are we going to go off what this kid said when he was actually a kid? Let's just say he did say that. I don't remember that, but from 2013 to 2016, like, bro, that's literally damn near a decade ago. I'm not going off of what this guy said years ago. If that's what was said, I don't remember that exact conversation, but bro, that was years prior. That's cool, Rick, if he said it, but I'm not going off of what he said damn near a decade ago. I'm not doing that. And I think at 34 years old, he understands that his job is different now. It's not the same. It's not the same as when he was very, very young and trying to be that guy. He understands now at 34 years old, you're going to draft another guy. You're going to develop another guy. And I'm here to, be that spot starter, but also help in any way possible. Any of y'all tell me, man, that you're the same person that you were 8 to 9 years ago, 10 years ago, then look, bro, stay away from me in real life. If you're the same exact person you were. So the top. Check this out. Whether you like Geno or not, one thing is certain. We have upgraded the quarterback position, who is fully capable of getting us to the playoff. Talk that talk. Talk that talk. So to my guy, top facts. We have upgraded the quarterback position. He's better than Aiden O'Connell. He's better than anybody else in that building right now. Facts, Joe. We're in a much better place at quarterback right now. Yeah. 69% completion percentage 2 years ago with a bottom 5 O-line. Geno is legit with weapons and protection. Talk that talk. Let me see. This does not take us out the conversation to bring in another quarterback, you guys. You guys have to remember what Tom Brady said initially, you guys. That he does not understand why these NFL teams in today's NFL start these young guys early, break their confidence, and destroy their careers early on. He would rather have a guy like a Matthew Stafford or a Geno Smith, a veteran guy who's been there and done that, to come in, go draft a young guy, develop them the right way, the way he was developed behind Drew Bledsoe, the way Aaron Rodgers was developed behind Brett Favre, the way that Patrick Mahomes was developed behind Alex Smith. There's so many stories about this, you guys. This does not mean that we're done. We're still going to get a quarterback in the draft. And hopefully that young guy puts some pressure on Geno in year one. That would be great, but we are still going to get a quarterback. Whether that's in the first round, the second, the third, whatever it is, we are going to go find a quarterback. Whether it's Will Howard, Chip Kelly's guy from Ohio State, whether it is a Kyle McCord out of Syracuse, whether it is a Shador at 6, we are still going to find a young option in this year's draft. Hopefully we can develop him and turn him into the future. But until then, you guys, we do not have the future in our building right now. We do not have the future in our building. Aiden O'Connell is not the future, okay? Gardner Minshew was a terrible option bringing him in. He's not the future. Carter Bradley sitting there on the practice squad somewhere is not the future, okay? You bring in a proven commodity here for a third-round pick. Yes, you had to pay a ton of money, but guess what? That's the going rate for a quarterback. And you just essentially got you a top 10 to top 15 quarterback in the NFL right now, and you have to take care of him. You have to pay for that. You have to pay for that. You have to pay the toll, man. That's what it costs. Do you want to play hard now and play and potentially win some ball games now? Because I keep hearing people say they want to win now, right? Well, guess what? This is a move that puts you in a place where you could potentially win now. Aiden O'Connell does not win football games now. Okay? Even a rookie going to get Shador at 6 and throwing me into the fire, you're probably not going to win right now. So guess what? They made a move a pick that they didn't have in the first place with Devontae Adams. They moved it, got Geno Smith, a familiar quarterback with Pete Carroll and what they want to do. And remember, Pete Carroll was the one that turned his career around. So what are we doing here? Once again, I'm not the biggest Geno Smith guy. You know this. But I understand the bridge quarterback conversation. I understand the bridge gap. But I also understand that any one of you, a lot of you guys would have complained regardless of who we brought in. We could have brought in a 4-time MVP, 11-time All-Pro, I think 11-10 Aaron Rodgers, and people would have complained. We could have got Justin Fields, who went 4-2 last year and can use his legs and can be dynamic in Chip Kelly's system, and people would have still fucking cried their asses off. Guess what? This team, these guys did what they wanted to do. They went and got a guy that Pete Carroll believes in. What's the problem here? What is the issue? We gave up a 3rd-round pick. We have a shit ton of money. Every year, motherfuckers keep saying, we got all this money, we're not doing nothing with it. Well, guess what? If Tom Telesco was in the building, we probably wouldn't have made this move. Probably would have held on to that bread, drafted a quarterback, threw him into the fire. These guys are making moves. You have $100 million. Use it. And guess what? They went with familiarity. They went and got a guy who's been there and done that. What is the fucking problem? Y'all act like fucking Patrick Mahomes is out there available. You act like Joe Burrow is available. You got to work with what you have. Don't blame this shit on Pete Carroll and Tom Brady, you guys. Blame this on the previous regimes. You know why we are right now? Where we are right now? Because of the Gruden regime. Because of the Josh McDaniels regime. Blame those regimes on why we are where we are right now. Don't beat up Pete Carroll. Do not beat up John Spytek. Do not beat up any of those guys that are in the building trying to change this thing and get this thing right. They're trying to right the ship. Don't blame them. Blame the previous regimes. Blame Gruden for taking so long. Well, let me say this. Not even Gruden. He kept DC around too long. I think Josh McDaniels did us one solid. He moved on from DC when it was time to move on from DC. It was right for both sides. All I'm saying is this, man. Blame those guys. Blame them motherfuckers. Why we don't have a top 5 quarterback in the building right now. That's not Pete Carroll's fault. It's not John Spytek's fault. It's not Tom Brady's fault. It's the guys previously that couldn't fucking draft. Spent all their money on Chris Littleton. Spent all their money on Trent Brown. Now we go get a quarterback that we got to pay $40 million for, and everybody complaining like it's their fucking money. Nasty work. Now back to our regular schedule program. Let me catch up. Salute to Spivey. GT or Graham at 6, then Howard. I have no problem with either of those guys. Brandon Graham can be great at the next level. Or Mason, was it Mason Graham? Sorry. Mason Graham at the next level out of Michigan. Ashton GT. Then, Will Howard. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Salute to my guy, Spivey. Salute to Junior, man. Pretty much traded Adams in his contract for Geno. Factory outlet. Salute to Reflect the Sun. I appreciate you on becoming a member and also gifting 5 OLV Network memberships. My brother, I appreciate you so much. Welcome to the family. Also, salute to all the 5 people that joined Green Dot Gang. If you guys missed out on those and you want to become a member, hit the link. It's pinned up top. This trade reminds me of when we got Aaron Brooks. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, Bay Area Arms. Please don't do that. Don't put that juju into the world. Yeah, Josh LaMarcus Joyner. Like, come on, man. Preach, Graphk, preach. Man, salute to my guy MVE in the building, man. My dog, preach, Graphk, preach. Thank you on the $10 special, my brother. Salute to Rosetown. I just want to see Pete get hyphy on the sideline. You know what's happening? You know what's happening? He's from the Bay, born and raised in San Francisco. It's going to happen. Marshawn going to be there one day with him. It's going to happen. Hey, Hug, I'm not even going to lie to you, bro. It really is. It really is. Facts. I'm really down here like, bro, like, what are y'all talking about? Hold on real quick, y'all. My phone is going crazy right now. Let me see. But salute you guys. Once again, if you get a few more questions in, we just reached over 2 hours. I'm going to get out of here in a second and go watch SmackDown and eat some food. My beautiful wife went and got groceries. We're about to eat some salmon and all that good stuff. I got to get out of here so she can cook. But salute the hug. That's that gout Graphk. Talk! Yo, I want to hear Shield More Coffee and Convo debate tomorrow. Desert Raider, let's do it. Now that we got our quarterback, man, we'll definitely go live tomorrow, and then me and Wasted to put a show together as well. Definitely. Salute the top beats once again, and once again, happy birthday to my brother. Why do some Raider fans are always so negative no matter what the Raiders do? Post-traumatic stress disorder. Raiders win will kill all of that. Talk that talk, my brother. Salute the top beats, man. Facts. Winning cures all. Winning cures all. Rob, I'm in my living room space where the kitchen is on the right side of me. So I'm once again, I was supposed to go get my Ethernet cord and set up my podcast room today. It'll be ready by free agency on Monday. So I got a few things to work on. But yeah, man, I would hate to leave with 3,000 people in the building, you guys. But I'm going to get out of here. I think I'm wearing out my welcome. You said Jordan Schultz tweet? Let me see. I want to see this before we get out of here. See what Jordan's talking about. Let me see. I don't see anything from Jordan Schultz right now. Hold up. Where the hell is it? Source, the Raiders plan to make Geno Smith their QB of the future. They've begun negotiating a long-term contract that will reflect that. Not there yet, but headed towards Smith receiving a multi-year extension in Los. So this tells me that they're going to go get a Will Howard. That tells me that probably a Shador or one of those type of guys are off the table for the Raiders at 6. So I can see a Gene T, you guys. I can see a Gene T there. I could definitely see a Gene T or one of the best players available there. Maybe a Will Johnson. Could be a Mason Graham, one of those guys. But if we're going to give him a multi-year deal, it's probably going to be a Will Howard or a Kyle McCord or one of those type of guys, which I'm not mad about. I'm not upset about because Will Howard is a guy that can be very, very good at the next level with Chip Kelly in the building. Like, Kyle McCord is one of the most under-the-radar quarterbacks out of Syracuse in this year's draft. So I wouldn't be shocked if we took GT at 6 now or one of those guys, a T-Mac, or if we go on the defensive side of the ball, Mason Graham or a Will Johnson. But whatever it is, sounds like the Raiders are going to give him a multi-year deal, make him the guy of the future moving forward, and he will be the guy in Las Vegas. So there you have it. And Ridge, I can see that. I see a trade back for extra draft capital, O-line in Hampton. Would love that. I would love that. Now at this point, you can cook. You can go get that third rounder back, move back, pick up maybe even an extra second. Whatever you do, you could do it. You could do it. But now with him in the building, being the guy for the foreseeable future, which I was assuming it'd be like a 2, maybe 3-year deal tops with that third year being a team option, which is still very much possible, you guys. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So Pete got his guy. Salute Nation, Raider fans since 1968. Salute to my guy. Let me get these supers in real quick. Just saying, let's go, Geno. Salute to Ben, my dog on the $3 special. Salute to It's That Guy. Love talking that talk, bro. Love you, man. Love you too, my brother. Appreciate you for being here. As always, man, thank you for the $20 special. That means a lot. Definitely helps us keep the lights on over here. But now there's several moves you can make here. If he does sign a 3-year, 4-year deal, and there's got to be an out in this as well. But now you have a lot of willing and dealing you can do here at that number 6 pick. So I'm assuming that, like I said, if you guys we sign him to a massive deal, Shador, Cam, that is out the window. So and I'm cool with this. If you make sure you go get a McCord or what, who's to say, man? I mean, Who's to say any of these guys think that Jackson Dart is ready to go right now? I mean, you can still go draft him. And injuries occur, you guys. Remember this too. Injuries occur. So you still want to get a serviceable backup. You want to have that guy. That's why I would probably still go get a Zach Wilson. I think that would be the best option here. I would go pay the $4 million per or whatever, bring in a Zach Wilson, bring him in as your backup, and then just go ahead and go ape shit in the draft. Why not? Everybody thinks this is a thin class at the quarterback position anyway, right? Bring in Zach Wilson on a cheap, bring him in as the backup, just in case anything, God forbid, happens with Geno. Bring him in and boom. Now you can take the best player available in each round. Salute the Rube. I think Max mentioned Gene T on a rush. Yes, he did. Might be wrong, but I think he said he should have won the Heisman and he's a fan. I'd have to go back and check when they talked about I don't know if he said that he should have won, but I know he's talked about Ashton Jeanty on several occasions. But I also know he's a fan of Trav and those guys too. So I don't think that he would have said that he should have won over him or whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, salute to my son. What's up, bud? Salute to Rube. But I know he definitely talked about him. Yeah, 100 on Zach Wilson. Why not? Why not? Go get him. Go get a guy that's still only 25 years old, and now you have your backup. You have your guy that could potentially be a guy that could be a spot starter for you. You can develop, and potentially he can be the guy if you move on from Geno. Do it. Do it. Dan says build a defense. I think we already have a lot of pieces on the defensive side of the ball. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I honestly believe that they're going to try and go defense here in free agency and then try and clean up on the offensive side of the ball in the draft. So keep an eye on corner. Like I said before, a Byron Murphy or a DJ Reed. Keep an eye on potentially bringing back some of our own guys like an Adam Butler, potentially a Merrick if he's not, outpricing himself out of Vegas. Robert Spillane, which they're already in talks to bring him back. I think the defensive side of the ball, we're going to look at that. Malcolm Kuntz, if he can bring him back on a hometown discount. Look at the defense in free agency. Look at that. I think they're going to want to try to bring in some vets that can compete right now on the defensive side of the ball because we still have a bunch of young guys. Think about this. Essentially, you have Jacorian Bennett, who's going to have to play some real live bullets this upcoming season. DeCameron Richardson. You have – what are we doing with Trey Taylor? There's still a lot of young guys. You know what I mean? You still have a young guy in Tommy Eichenberg. Is he going to be the linebacker of the future? What are we doing with him? So, I think they go veterans in the on the defensive side of the football in free agency, bringing some guys that have been there and done that and ready to go. And then you go get some young guys on the offensive side of the ball, man. Go get you some young guys. Get you a guard. Get you 2 running backs. Get you a wide receiver. That doesn't make me think that they're not going to go get a Tyler Lockett or even potentially go all out for a Chris Godwin. But I think they're still going to get somebody there as a receiver in free agency. But they may go the cheaper route and bring in a Lockett. They may go that route, in which I don't love that move, but I like the move. Lockett's he's not the same that he once was, but he's a guy that loves Pete, knows Pete. He's 33 years old, some along those lines. But feeling good and getting high on hopium. Salute to my guy Spivey, man. But yeah, man. Other than that, man, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna let my wife do her thing in here. I'm gonna go watch my Kings game and watch my SmackDown. We will be back tomorrow, you guys. Stay tuned. We'll break down this Geno Smith talk even more. We'll go over some more backup options. We'll talk about the free agency period. We'll talk about the draft, and then also maybe, just maybe, me and Wasted will do that show Sunday, or maybe we'll do it tomorrow. We shall see. I'll call him. I'm gonna call him right after this, and we'll get lit. But salute to the 3,000 people still in the building with me. Make sure you guys on the way out wipe them feet, man. That means hit those thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet. For those who are just joining, breaking news: Raiders sent a 3rd-round pick to the Seattle Seahawks for Geno Smith, and it sounds as though we're moving towards giving him an extension to make him the guy of the future at the quarterback spot. 34-year-old Geno Smith. We cut Andre James. He will be gone, saving us $1.5 million towards the salary cap. And then it looks as though we're allowing Nate Hobbs to move on and go wherever he's going to go in free agency. So there you have it. Love, appreciate all you guys. Raider fans says per Albert Breer. Let me read this one more time before we get out of here because you guys keep sending me more tweets. Albert Breer says, Geno Smith's story is great, and there's a good lesson in there on not giving up on a talented quarterback who started in less than an ideal circumstances. He and I talked about that at length last summer for Raiders looking to get to know their new quarterback. So he put up something there, and he also put AFC West, Mahomes, Reed, Herbert, Harbaugh, Knicks, Sean Payton, Geno, Pete Carroll. He didn't put it in order, though. He wasn't trying to put it in order. He's just saying, like, wow, this is going to be a fun division. I don't think that he was saying that Bo Nix is better than Geno Smith at this point, especially this going into year 2. So yeah, but other than that, man, appreciate all you guys. Do me a favor, man, and hit those likes on the way out, and also hit that subscribe button. See you guys tomorrow.